fine.
Malaki, what have been some of the takeaways for you thus far during OTAs as you've worked with veterans?
Yeah, I think there's levels to football, and just the knowledge and the accumulation that we have in our room, not just in the DB room, but in the linebackers room, in the D-line room, even on the offense side of the ball, the tight ends room, receivers. Just being able to really get out here and watch guys and learn how they move and how they see the game of football from a different perspective than I do has been huge for me.
Where do you feel like you've grown the most since arriving for rookie camp? I know it wasn't that long ago, but there's been a lot of football between now and then.
I think the biggest thing for me is the landmarks. So the field is completely different than college. And when I first got here, I could feel myself like they would say if my job was at the numbers, I was going to the college numbers, but I was missing the league numbers. So just being able to work on that, stay after practice and just watch a lot of tape and just kind of reprogram myself into this is where I'm supposed to be at has been the challenging thing, but it's getting a lot better with all the help and all the reps that I'm getting is huge in my development.
Malaki, it looks like you're playing more in a free safety role, I guess I would say. Do you appreciate playing one position as opposed to being moved around a lot like you were in Georgia?
Yeah, I like being anywhere, if I'm being honest. We talk about a positionless defense, so just being able to move around. I've been playing a lot of free safety, but I've also been the other safety, and I got some reps at dime as well. So just being able to move around. We have a lot of guys that move around. Just the way our defense is set up, when you look at it, you see Kyle everywhere, you see Marlin everywhere. Guys move around a lot here and there. So just really being able to dive into one thing and expand my mind from that has been a great opportunity.
Not the same position, but in the secondary, what's Marlin like for you as a mentor? A guy who's been doing it for so long at such a high level.
Yeah, Marlin's a great vet, man. Just being able to, we were just sitting over here talking, so just being able to learn from him and just all the ball that he's seen, all the people that he's played with. Just for me to be able to sit in the same meeting room and be like, hey, when they do this, what do you think about this or whatever? And then just his character. I mean, he's a funny, goofy guy. I mean, not what I expected him to be whatsoever. He's awesome, man. I'm blessed to be here with a vet like him and a lot of other guys in the room.
Malaki, we hear John talk a lot about rookies learning how to practice as a professional. How do you feel like you've done with that? And is there anybody on the team that you kind of watching and maybe taking some of their practice habits?
Yeah, not saying I had it all figured out, but I had pretty good practice coming from the University of Georgia. They always talked about practicing like a pro, so staying off the ground, being smart, taking care of your teammates, things like that. And it's the same thing here, and I've been watching a lot of the older vets as well. Like I said, not just from my room, but everywhere. Just to seeing, how they disengage from a block, how they handle the situation when it comes up. Because, every place is a little different. So just being able to watch guys and take what I already know and figure it out as I go, that's what I've been doing.
So you come down and break up a short pass in practice today. How much faster do you feel like you're playing now versus rookie camp?
Yeah, I think a lot, and I think that just comes with the knowledge of the defense. The more you learn, the faster you can play, you can be free. And I think, I just want to keep expanding my knowledge and keep diving into the system.
You're going off in the pass game against that. You're kind of like, man, I didn't know that guy had that.
You talking about here or?
Yeah, here. Who's been hardest to cover?
That's tough. Isaiah. I had a rep against Isaiah the other day. And he's a lot quicker than what he looks on TV and in person. So, like I said, just being able to learn from him. Just the knowledge that he's had while he's been here. And just the way that he does things. Every tight end is a little different. But he's very quick. He very knowledgeable about the game of ball. So just being able to go against him, it's only making me better.
Chuck Pagano obviously stands out as a former NFL head coach. He worked with Ed Reed when Ed was at Miami, and he worked with him here in Baltimore. What are your impressions of someone like that who has that kind of experience and what he can teach you?
Yeah, I think I told Chuck when I first got here, I was like, you remind me of Muschamp a lot, Will Muschamp. I was like, you're not as fiery. Muschamp will snap in a minute. But I was like, just the way they go about their business, and just like the knowledge of football that they both have. He texted me like at 5 this morning with film from Thursday practice. And I woke up, I was like, okay, cool, like that makes sense. So just being able to have somebody, that's how I want to be coached. I received that very well. So just being able to have somebody like that in my corner, it's a blessing.
You were a leader on that Georgia defense, a very active communicator. How do you balance that when you're coming to the pros and learning a new playbook with new teammates?
Yeah, I think the first thing is, don't bite off more than you can chew. So just really realizing, my place in this defense, in this organization, and you gotta know what to do before you can start demanding stuff from other people. I think as a leader, you shouldn't ask somebody to do something that you wouldn't do of yourself. And then just also, when I got to the University of Georgia, I had to learn how to follow the right people before I could lead. And that really taught me how to move around while watching people lead by becoming a leader myself. So it's nothing new. I think I'm still going to lead in the same way that I've always led. And I think I'm going to use that with the other guys that's also leading here as well, and just try to, figure out my mode in the organization.
Learning from different guys who maybe have different perspectives from you. Who are some of those guys that have helped you see things in ways that you hadn't seen them before?
Yeah, I think the biggest guy is Roquan. Just him being that, the voice of the defense. But also, I watched a lot of his tape when he was at Georgia. So just it's a cool moment for me. But just to see the way that he handled his business, and he's super smart. Like I said, you gotta learn what to do before you can start telling people what to do, and he has that respect from everybody on the team. So just watching him and how he moves, and even the guys on the offense, the guys just move in different way, and it works in different ways. Not everybody has to lead in the same way. So just really trying to figure out, take pieces from everybody and put it into my own mold.
Did you ever go watch him while he was at Georgia?
No, I didn't go watch. I didn't go to a Georgia game till I was a recruit. And he was gone by then. But I did watch a lot of his tape for sure.
Even though you're in different rooms, does Roquan ever look at the film with you and kind of go over stuff?
No, we haven't really got a chance to connect. I think I go home and I watch the tape and I come in with questions and I ask here and there. But I think when things start to pick back up, we will get the opportunity, and I'm looking forward to it.
Does anyone kind of warn you what next week may look like when Lamar's here and more guys are here and it just increases with the mandatory minicamp, but what that's going to be like you?
Yeah, I think yes and no. He's a really big part of his team, and at the end of the day, ball is ball. And when he was here, I got a chance to go on the field with him and just see how he moves. You watch him on sorry. You watch him on TV, and it's like, I don't know, it's crazy to see it in person. But just to be able to learn from him and just kind of watch how he moves, and it's only going to bring the energy up more when he gets here, and so do the other guys as well. So I'm excited.
All right, thank you, Malaki.
Thank you.